How are you?
Hey, Tony freaking Fonte.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing great.
Uh,
It's storming here today, so if you hear anything, that's what's going on.
So you're in St. Louis.
Yes, I
St.
am.
Louis. I'm in California,
Yeah, what part of California you in? I remember you saying that, but I didn't remember.
Bay Area in San Jose, California,
Okay,
about an hour away from San Francisco.
nice.
Yeah,
How's everything going on there?
it's going good. I mean,
Yeah,
today is a really beautiful day out. We've been having some warm weather, so enjoying that. Um,
good.
yeah, I've never visited St. Louis though.
Yeah, right now it's not pretty.
Yeah.
It's storming, but um, with all the yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not like the Bay Area. Obviously, there's no water because you're in the middle of the damn country, but there's a lot of cool stuff here and a lot of good history here. But
For sure. And I think that that's the beauty of various places, right? Is being able to see all the differences and I mean the history and the buildings and just what you do have around. So before we get into anything, let's go ahead and introduce you.
let's do it.
So we got Tony freaking Fonte here, Tony Fonte here joining us, who's a spiritual comedian, a healer, teacher, author, and speaker. He shows people how to unplug from reality with laughter, even for just a moment, and learn to make all of life fun, to laugh through life. Without further ado, welcome, Tony. Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you for
Absolutely
being
an
here.
honor to be on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean,
Excited.
I know you had reached out to me, and I'm like, dude, hell yeah, I am down to be on your podcast. And I know you took a little break from that for now and just kind of enjoying time with your daughter. I've been seeing you so many funny videos you guys are posting.
Yep.
But I really love your whole look on life. Just laugh through life. I mean, how much better can we make life when we don't take things so seriously?
Yes, especially in today's times,
Mm,
with everything that's going on now. People are so stressed out, so fearful, hiding from the fear when they are afraid because, or hiding it under something else, which, just call it what it is. But people are just like, okay, let's just say what it is. People are losing their minds right now.
totally.
You know what? I have fallen into some of that too because I feel that energy sometimes. And there's my own stuff because I'm human, right? It's like I'm not laughing all the time and I got to bring myself back to it and go, wait. What's going on? I'm creating my own suffering right now.
Mm,
Let's go back to laughing and get into and using what's going on to laugh and take the moments of that and laugh at that. Granted, I've had some people tell me, you can't laugh right now. You can't have fun right now. And I'm like, why? Because people are dying. People are going through financial turmoil. And I go, this is all the more reason to laugh more. I'm like, you're mean to tell me I can't have fun in life because shit's falling apart. That makes no sense to me. I mean, it's just like, no, I'm like, you're thinking everything has to be good in order to have fun. Everything has to be great in order to laugh.
mm,
No,
mm,
in the midst of it, you should be able to laugh.
yeah.
So I'm actually creating a comedy video on that subject because a lot of people have given me a lot of great ideas and
Yeah,
content to create comedy videos, not to make fun of them,
right.
but to make light and to really bring to show the silliness of the thoughts we have, the behaviors we have, and the beliefs we have
It
because we
brings
all have them.
it's like this new perspective.
Yes.
It's really this new perspective, and I think that you really hit the nail on the head with like in this time of stress and chaos, whether it's globally or personally or perceived even, it's
Yes.
it's it's the best thing you can do is at least seek for some type of laughter or fun, because that's going to help to, the way that I look at it is everything is momentum, like a snowball. So
Yeah.
it's like if it's bad, the more that you're stressed and the more that you're concerned and worried, which don't ignore the problems. Obviously, we have to find solutions. But in lieu of all that, it's like first let's laugh a little and change our feelings so that we can maybe now see a different solution and even slow down that momentum of pain and suffering that can really just be so self-defeating and even lead to disease. And yeah.
Yes, you hit it there too. So when we're so stressed out, right? When we're so in suffering, because our lives, we were never intended to suffer. We all have challenges, right? We all have struggles, but we were never created to be in constant struggle or constant suffering. That is the ego. That is, we created that. And we feel like this guy's saying, I can't have fun. We can't have fun. You can't laugh at that. This is not funny. Why not? Why can't I laugh at the fact that people are doing crazy things? We're all doing crazy things out of fear, out of stress. I don't care if you want to call it cautious or whatever. There's still fear behind that. Even behind caution, it's like, well, why do you protect your daughter? Because I don't want anything to happen to her. Well, that's being cautious. Yes, but there's an underlying fear behind that. I don't want anything to happen to my daughter. Let's just be real with it. You know, there's nothing wrong with being afraid. There's nothing wrong with feeling the emotions you feel. They are yours and they're valid. Now, the thing we need to distinguish is, why are we having those feelings? Is that true? Is what's really going on is true? And we're going through life just so stressed out and so crazy that we're thinking so irrationally. Now, we're all emotional beings. People are like, oh, think logically and take emotion out of it. There's emotion in everything, even in logic. I mean, every decision we make has emotion behind it, period. You can't get away from it. Everybody wants to run away from their emotions. That's the thing. They want to run away from their emotions. I've heard it so many times that, and I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I actually want to do a comedy video on this. I keep seeing these memes on, train your mind to be stronger than your emotions. And I'm like, man, you're like a salmon trying to swim upstream when you're trying to do that. You're fighting that. The key to freedom is actually not running from your emotions or trying to train your mind to be stronger in your emotions, because your mind actually creates the problems. It does. It's a great solution. It does solutions too, but it actually creates more problems. And you cannot solve a problem from the same level of thinking and being that created the problem.
Word. Wow.
So we're in this chaos, right? And now we're, a lot of us, well, some of us are out of quarantine. I know in certain areas are still going on, or it's slowly going in phases. Here we've been okay. We have some things going on, but it's been, open since May for the most part. A lot of things just finally started opening up in June. They still have some things, but anyway. And when we got stuck in this quarantine, now people had to deal with their stuff, because now they're stuck. They're like, they hid through their work, through being just totally distracted by the things in the world, whether it's their job, whether it's so many different things. Now they have to deal with it. And that's when they started freaking out, because we're all going through this awakening process, however you want to agree with that or believe that, we're all going through an awakening process. And it can be very painful. It can be very painful, because now we have to face it. The cool thing is Earth is like, hey, I'm forcing you to go through this. So that's what this pandemic really is. Now, there's some other underlying things behind that. I don't want to get into what's really going on there, because that's not the point of this. But you are going to face your stuff, and you got to deal with it. And some people are straight up losing their mind because they don't know how to do that. They never faced it. We've been taught to suppress and oppress and just totally push away our emotions. And and going a long way around to saying this, that those repressed and suppressed emotions is what creating illness. Yes. Creating disease in our body. You see it with all these autoimmune diseases. It's all emotion that's stored in the body. And, Eastern medicine had it right with that part of it. And then in the early days here, when medicine was really medicine, they had some of that. But then when the pharmaceutical model came into the medical field, it totally, no, that's all hogwash. And now I'm learning, even for myself, oh my gosh, if you have a particular illness, even cancer, there's some underlying emotion that is allowing that to manifest, because we are creators of our reality. We're co-creators. We create whether we like it or not, whether we are aware of it or not. And our reality, our outside world, is a reflection of our inside world. Yes. So if we can stop trying to control our outside world, which everybody's trying to do right now, we got to get people to do this. We got people to do this. And you got to wear a mask to make me feel better. And you got to do this to make me feel better. And you got to speak this way to make me feel better. No. Deal with your own stuff. That's like a collective codependency. It's really what it is. It's like a big collective major relationship of people doing things. And you're seeing so much of this, the shaming going on when someone doesn't believe. I mean, there's so much chaos. It's like, no, my whole mission, and I actually just got more clarity. I had someone do a reading on me yesterday, and it clarified something I said Saturday, and I didn't realize that I was saying it. I was
Mhm.
saying it, but not in these words, and she totally confirmed it. And because I went to get my hair cut on Saturday, and I had my stylist laughing. I had the other stylist. They were just, I mean, they're laughing. Like the lady snorted and almost scalped me, which was not allowed here anyway. But I mean, and I left and I was smiling. I mean, I had them laugh, and I'm like, that's what lights me up, is making people laugh. And I made a post, and I said, even if it's for a moment, that they unplugged from reality and laughed. It doesn't matter if their life is shit for the rest of the day. For a moment, they unplugged and they laughed. And there was some healing in that, because there's laughter and healing. I said, that's what lights me up, doing that right there. And I had my reading, and but I didn't say unplug on Saturday. And that the reading said that that's exactly what I'm here to do, is you help people unplug for reality so they can recharge for a moment to come back in. And when they plug back in, but then I also provide the tools to heal so they can ultimately unplug altogether and unplug back into something that's much greater. Whatever that is for
Wow.
them. So
I think the podcast is done. I think you had everything you needed to say right there.
all right, we're good.
Well, you said so much that I want to touch on. I mean, for one, the fact that you're a male saying these things is so powerful for other males, because there's a huge stigma, Tony, about feeling your emotions,
Yep.
right? And there's a time and a place for logic. Absolutely. And how can we balance both of these here, right? That feeling into your emotions and deciding through also understanding your emotions and where they're coming from, and the traumas, the underlying fears, the underlying pains that have had you now projecting this to other people and the world around you unconsciously really. And then that's how we're unconsciously creating, as opposed to consciously creating our own reality.
Yes.
And then it's like, now we're unplugging because we're being aware, and we have to, right? When we have these tools to be able to now plug into something better or greater, or not even better or greater from a standpoint of, oh, that's better than what I'm doing, but it's a sense of like, now we can move, now we can start to shift, now we can start to gain that momentum in a new direction. And I think the key thing here, like you said, even if that one moment of these women having a beautiful time and laughing and just enjoying and healing, it's like we're so programmed or thinking that this is normal. The pain is normal, the suffering is normal, the negativity is normal, trauma is normal, toxic relationships is normal, that we don't know any better.
Yeah.
And we just, so once we taste something else, we're like, oh. And I always love the analogy of using like food, because we all can relate to food. It's like having a certain type of pizza, or, you know, a burger, or you've had some good tacos, but then you have these other new tacos, or this better burger and this better pizza. And you're like, I'm never going back there again. So just I think people just don't know that this is available.
And there's fear in that. So a lot of people, and it's unconscious, right? And it's the ego. The ego wants to keep you safe. So it'll do everything it can to keep you from doing anything different, because that's what it's designed to do. But the ego is not like the ego that like you think you're hot shit, right? It's the ego, all the beliefs and all the systems that we bought into, that we programmed, right, from a kid. It's all the stuff that's been passed on from our parents. This is generational stuff, right?
Yeah.
Generational stuff. So when you go through a healing process and you begin to awaken to your true self, right? And you break that veil and you start doing, and I use humor to help people unplug from that, to realize that, because I've gone on my own process for the last 6 years, and really this deepest part of me is since 2018 is when I started this deeper spiritual realm. I used to be in religion, and again, nothing wrong with that, but I felt like something was missing. And I remember asking that in 2015, God, who are you? Jesus, who are you really? I mean, and I'm going, why am I asking that question? I was like, why am I asking? I don't get this, because there was a deeper thing in me. My mind couldn't fathom this.
Wow.
But then I read a book and it totally freaked me out. I wasn't ready for it. It was a book by Deepak Chopra, but I wasn't ready for it. But I left and went to a different church, and then I had a buddy of mine who was a Christian, and then he went through this amazing awakening. He kept at it. You want to do it? Nope, nope, nope. My beliefs were holding on. I'm like, no, I'm going to do this my way over here.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. Well, what do I got to do? And then I went through this journey, and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. But what I wanted to get to is fear of the unknown.
So let me ask you really quickly though,
Yeah.
because I think it's one of those things that you were asking a question. You had come to a point in your religious experience in your life where you were asking now questions, and I think that that's the key here, is to ask questions. Like, even if it's, why am I fearful, or why is this upsetting me, or why do I feel this way, or why does this keep happening in my relationships, or why are my kids not talking to me, or whatever is going on, asking why. And then through that we start to get these answers, right? Whether it's a book or a person coming into our life or an article popping up mysteriously, mystically, coincidentally. And then you do these options that we have where it's like, no, I want to do it my way though. But eventually you get to that point of like, all right, I'll try it. What do I have to lose? Right? That fear of the unknown becomes this like, well, what do I have to lose?
Yes. So I wanted to say, like, we think things are coincidences, right? There are no coincidences. There are no mistakes. We think that it's like, no, there's synchronicities and everything is by divine timing, right? And then we can avoid so much, but if our souls, when they decided to come here, said, okay, I want to experience this thing, but I want to do this thing. So we have free will, but we also know that our soul's going to do it. So we're going to go through some things to wake up to that, right? And to get to where we're getting, like, I had to experience that. And I know that because the gifts that I have, the gifts that are awakening up inside me, and the experience I've had are helping me do what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Like, I had to experience the religious side so I can go deeper into the actual meaning of the scripture.
Yep.
Of that stuff, because I'm going, oh, wait, there's a lot of stuff that's not true. And there's stuff that's not going deep enough. There's stuff that doesn't go deep enough. Yeah. And there's times like, I'm like, you ask questions. I love that you said that. It's about inquiry. Everybody wants to change the outside world and get them to do what they need to do that. And I used to be a guy. I used to be a guy. I am a guy that used to be toxic. That's what I was trying to say. I used to be a guy. I'm not a guy anymore.
I just am.
I'm just here. But I used to be this very, very toxic guy, and I'm very open about that. I mean, I was very, angry, just insecure, right? And this is what you see as a typical man. Don't show emotions. Emotions are bad. You're a man. You don't show it. And women are emotional. And you know why men can't understand women? Because we are so disconnected from that emotional side. Yeah. I've been raising my daughter for 9.5 years since my wife died. That girl has been my greatest teacher. Helped me wake to myself, helped me wake up, period, heal all that toxic shit that was pushed onto me because my dad went through that same shit. And now I'm over here watching my dad slowly die. He's going through some stuff, and I'm healing my life, and I'm healing him, and he's seeing another side without me saying a damn word to him. And you know what? And I've told him that because I actually had, I channeled, I know that sounds weird, or maybe you're into that stuff, but this is something new to me too.
This was no accident, Tony.
No, it's not. I had a dream. And when I got up, I was like, okay, that was a weird freaking dream. So I started journaling, and I go, what was that dream about? And it was about my dad. But it was first, my mom died 2 years after my wife died. And it was me at the time, because I was in religion, right? And I helped my mom become saved because that's what she needed to transition. She suffered for 5 years with some stuff. And then it was October, I helped her through that with what I knew at that moment. And then it was 4 months later, she was gone. She died, but that's what she needed. And then, so I had this dream, and I was helping my mom in this dream. And then my dad got possessed in this dream. And I was like, what the hell? And I'm going around trying to find someone who can help him. And then I was getting mad and frustrated because there was no one who could help him. But I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I heard this voice. It said, Tony, you're the only one that can help him. You're the only one that can free him. And I was like, what? And then I woke up. I'm like, what the hell was that? So I started journaling, and then I started channeling. And it was very scary. It actually overwhelmed me because having a disability is not for the faint of heart. And it was something new to me. And they're like, your dad is going to be leaving the earth soon. He's going to be dying, and it's this year. And that possessed was all that anger, all that pain that he's been holding on to for all these years. That was, I mean, generational stuff. So that possessed, like we think of demons, right? It's really the hell that we're living, because hell is not a separate place. I've learned that.
It's what we
hell is here. And we're experiencing hell right now. Everybody's hell is coming out into the collective right now because people are forced to face it. So that's where he's been, and that's the possessed, because he's just so consumed by it. And so he's going to be dying, and you're going to set him free. You're going to have a conversation with him. And when he went in the hospital, because he's going through some craziness right now. He's had heart issues and diabetes because he's not taking his medicine. It's just, he's got mental issues now, impairments because of not taking. It's crazy. And they said, have a conversation with him. He's hanging around, feeling like he needs to suffer, but he wants to make sure you and your brother are okay. But he can't say it because he doesn't know how to show that. And it's going to take you. So he does this. And I said, he also is still holding on to a lot of guilt and shame of how he raised you. And you're going to have this conversation to say, hey, Dad, it's okay.
Yeah. So
he gets out of the hospital. I pick him up. We're out there. And I'm like, is he going to remember this? And they're like, he may not hear, but he'll feel it, because his soul can still do it. And I'm like, all right. So I'm out there having this conversation with him. And I'm nervous because it's my dad. I've had a similar conversation, but not this deep, when my book came out. And I heard this voice saying, go thank him and set him free. And I'm like, go thank him, set him up. What the hell are you talking about? And I resisted, and it kept pushing him. Fine, okay. So I had that conversation with him, but it wasn't enough then, because I was only in that realm. And so I said, Dad, I got to have and we need to talk. And he goes, about what? And I said, about life. Because that's how I deal with stressful stuff. I make light of it, right? Because I'm stressed. I want to laugh so I can bring myself down some, so I can have this awkward conversation. And how I played it out in my head, it was so smooth, so cool. I was like, some calm. I was like, what? I got this to say. Of course, it did not come out that way. It was like I stumbled all over the place, but I said everything. And I said, Dad, I have this feeling that you're holding on because you want to make sure that we're okay. And he said, yeah. And I'm getting emotional right now. And I said, Dad, we're okay. You don't need to hold on anymore. We're good. I was like, I'm good. I've done so much work to heal myself. I'm good. You don't have to worry about that part of me. You've seen it. I know you've seen it. I know you won't say because you don't know how, but I'm good. I said, now Tommy, who's my brother, I said, he's a little slow, but he's coming around. Because I had to joke around. And I said, we're good. Yeah. When you're ready, go. It's okay. You don't need to suffer anymore. And he just kind of sat there. And I said, Dad, I also have this feeling that you're still holding on to a lot of guilt and shame from how you raised us. And he just kind of, because you can't share that. And I said, Dad, because I've healed so much. And I told you once before, thank you for the way you raised me, because the way you raised me has led me to who I am today, being the dad I am today, because I know now what not to do. And because I've healed all of that pain, I didn't need you to tell me sorry. I didn't need you. You don't know how. He doesn't know how because he's so consumed in his prison of hell. He doesn't know how. And it's not his damn responsibility to make me feel better, to heal me. It's our responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's everybody's responsibility. It's every damn man and woman's responsibility to heal themselves. And I said, because I've healed, I'm up here seeing you suffer, Dad. And I want you to know that I love you unconditionally, asshole and all. I had to throw a joke in there. And he kind of laughed. I said, Dad, you did the best you could with what you knew. And you can see him kind of lift up, his shoulders lift. He's like, yeah, I did. And I said, Dad, when you are ready, you are free to let that go. I said, you don't need to hold on to it anymore. You're free. You have my permission to let it go. Like, he didn't need my permission, but he almost needed to hear, it's okay. You don't have to suffer because of how you raised us. I'm setting you free. You have permission to let it go. And he said, thank you. And I said, when you're ready, go see Mom. And he said, well, I don't know if I'm going to go. And I said, Dad, you've been living in hell for 74 years. I trust me. You're going to go over and it's going to be beautiful. And Mom's waiting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know where that came from. I'm like, Mom's waiting. I'm like, she visits me all the time. I mean, as I've gone through the spiritual ascension, I feel that they're here quite often.
Yeah.
They're closer than we think they are. But we have that veil because that ego just doesn't let us feel their energy. And obviously spirits and energy, they love to be around higher vibrational beings. They love it. So I had that conversation. We have to feel through our pain. There is no, and I want to go back to that, train your mind to be stronger. I mean, you're fighting yourself. If you want mental strength, right? Mental discipline, you can, to some extent, get your mind to be stronger than your emotions. But that's what men have been doing all these years. It doesn't go away. It manifests in different ways, whether it's your health, whether it's something else. It doesn't go away. The true path to healing, the true path to mental discipline, the true path to emotional strength and intelligence is to feel through that pain. Yeah. When you feel through that emotional pain, you are freaking free. Because now it breaks the patterns of your mind. And now when you can sit with your thoughts and your feelings and observe them from an observer, you realize that you're not your thoughts. And that took me the longest time, like, but I'm the one thinking them, but it's not you. If you can sit back and observe them, then you are the observer and you're not the actual thinker. Mm-hmm. It's the ego. Yeah. But we can also have some great thoughts because it's not ours, but the soul feeds that too. Mm-hmm. And when you heal that emotional pain, and you can sit there with your thoughts and you can sit there and feel through that and start asking those questions. Ooh, what the hell? Why am I triggered? Why am I feeling that? Why am I angry? Why am I trying to control my kids? Why am I trying to do this? Why am I trying to do that? Why am I not moving toward my dreams? Why do I keep sabotaging my relationships? Why do I keep attracting toxic women? Why do I keep attracting toxic men? Yeah. It's all inside. And people say, and I allow them to have it because if that's their belief, that's their belief. But they're like, Jesus is the only way. And I had this conversation not too long ago. Jesus is the only way you got to believe. And I go, if that was true, if that was the absolute truth, then 80% of Christians would not be suffering. But that's a virtue too. Because I've had a pastor tell me, well, Jesus suffers, so what's to say you won't suffer? What? And I've also been told you'll most likely be angry your whole life, but just keep giving it to God and he'll take it away. It doesn't really go away. That's a mental faith. That's a mental spirituality. That's all it is. And if you believe that way, that's fine. Let's go deeper into that. Let's go deeper into it because I've been giving a lot of truth on that because I'm going through that. I'm like, oh, that's what that means. Like, it's like this, all of a sudden, that's what that means. I'll ask a question and like a week later or whatever, I'm doing something completely different. I'm cooking and all of a sudden I go, oh, I'll have this knowing. Yeah. And people are like, how's it feel? I go, it's like, you can't describe indescribable, but it's like, oh, that's truth. And like, I'm getting chills right now because it's confirming, yes, it's truth. When you feel that, I'm going, oh, that's what that means. Oh, that's what that means. And I'm going, okay, what does this scripture mean? If this doesn't mean this, what does this mean? Yeah.
Well, it's like once you open that door, right? It's literally, I'm so just like, I know this is from experience too. It's like, I didn't know that this was a possibility for me. I literally thought that my fate was my fate. oh, this is the cards I've been dealt. You hear that term, and
Mm,
this is just the way it is. And I would be jealous and envious of other families or people or that had their parents or different opportunities or were wealthy. And then I learned about the concept of how your mind attracts these things to you. And I didn't know how, right? But the more you taste, and those, like you said, it's an indescribable knowing. It's just feeling. It's like, oh, that's new, that's different. It's empowering. It feels like truth. It feels like home. You don't have any conflicting ideas about it. It feels like the right thing. And the more that we taste that or feel that or experience that, the more we start to let more and more in and get familiar with it. And that's really all it is familiarizing yourself with something new. I really like how you just shared that whole experience, because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't know really how to dive into these things on their own. And I think that it takes sometimes those moments of, for example, your wife passing away and you having to raise a daughter. And it's really interesting how these things happen in life, because there's like a calling. There's like a calling, and we're answering door. And you're stepping up, like it's a forced level up almost, right? But you wanted to be this guy. You wanted to find these
mm,
answers. You
yes.
wanted to raise your daughter in this way. And so it's very fascinating to me how, even as a collective generational, how there's this constant like expansiveness. And your daughter's going to know more than we do, right? Like my daughter too, she's 15, and it's like she's going to know more than she's going to get to experience this more understanding, deeper connection, possible abilities. Like it's just amazing to me.
It's yes, it's absolutely beautiful to see. Like I'm sitting back going, my daughter has some amazing powers that like she doesn't even know they're there. Because she mirrors back to me a lot, which that's what everybody is in the world, right? They're a mirror. They're a mirror. People are
Right.
like, well, this person's doing that. I'm like, if you're saying and you hate something about somebody, it has nothing to do with them. Well, yeah, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You're pointing out something you don't like about yourself, right? So that's the same kind of concept. We always mirror back, but our like if my daughter's really chaotic, okay, and I'm like, what's going on? Well, I don't. She's like it doesn't resonate with her. She's mirroring back something that's going on with me, and I need to deal with that. So and that was 6 years ago is when I really began this journey. I got remarried after my wife died. It was very toxic. She was physically, emotionally, and mentally abusive. I was emotionally and mentally abusive. And it was just crazy. And even with my daughter, I was very emotionally and mentally abusive, but there was times I was physically abusive too. I'm not ashamed of that. That's not who I am anymore. I own that shit. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. Everybody wants to play victim and push it off. And I hit it. Like you said, I wanted to be this guy. I wanted to be this dad. Like I have older kids. They don't talk to me. I wasn't the greatest dad to them. I tried. I did the best I could, but I caused them pain. Their mother did too. Their mothers, because I have several, but they caused them pain. That I was trying to be this guy. I mean, I got to prove. And finally I said, you know what? You don't want to be in my life. That's fine. But I had to heal that part to go, no. And I would bend over backwards for my older daughter. And then she was going around just spreading lies about me. And I finally found out about it. And I finally put a boundary in place. And she did not like that. And that's interesting when we put boundaries in place with people who are toxic, which she's toxic. She didn't like to hear that. And of course, she called me more names. I'm like, look, I helped create that. I know it. I'm like, you just got done saying, I realize, and I apologize. I started realizing like a week ago. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I wasn't the dad you needed. And I did this and this and this and this. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'm just telling you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I forgave you. Because when I went through all my hard time because she's got 2 kids. When I went through, I mean, there was a time I actually thought she was going to die because she was in the drugs and all this stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. And then she's like, when I went through mine, I realized, oh my gosh, my dad had this and I forgave you. But then I found out a week later, she was talking trash about me, saying I was this horrible dad and this horrible person, stay away from me. Well, she was just projecting her own stuff. And I was like, wow. And it hurt. It hurt. And I was like, So I had to heal. And I put a boundary in place. I said, you're not allowed around because I don't allow any toxicity in my life. People are like, well, that's family. I don't give a crap if you're family. That's even more so to put a boundary in place. If you're toxic, you have no place until you figure it out enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, I lived being toxic for a long time. I got out of a relationship because I got remarried. And it was absolutely freaking horrible. But it was also beautiful because that was the last straw for me. I said, I am done. I woke up and I go, I'm the common denominator in here. All my relationships have been toxic. Oh, the ones that weren't, I sabotaged it because I didn't feel worthy and deserving of love. So I was either really toxic towards them and really abusive to them, or I would find a way to sabotage it and make them go away because I didn't feel I deserved someone great. So then I got into toxic shit. And then I didn't want to be alone because I didn't feel lovable. Like if they left, I wouldn't be loved because there was no love inside me. I wanted it, but I thought it was all outside of me. Everybody's seeking so much outside of them. The fucking answers are inside you.
Yeah.
Inside, connect with divine or whatever you call it, right? But connect with that damn thing. You are free.
Yep.
And when you become free and you heal, now you can have freaking fun in every damn situation. Like that the woman who, a friend of mine who channeled for me yesterday, and it was beautiful. And I'm like, I can't get this part out of my head. And what they told me, they said, an awakened man is a free man. Mm. And that resonates. Like I'm getting chills right now because freedom is one of my biggest virtues that I hold on to, like freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom. When we are in hell, we are in shackles and we're in chains and we're chained down and we're held down with weights and our past traumas and pains and past lives, if you believe in that piece of it, which that's new for me in the last year too. But, but all of that, whether it's generational, whether it's the past lives, if that's what you're into, and all this stuff that we're holding down in our own beliefs that we're holding down to who we think we are, which is all a bunch of freaking lies. And when you step to the other side and you remember, it's not about learning something new, it's remembering who you are and what the truth about who you are, which we're divine freaking creators made in the image of God because we have that same ability. Yep. We're in a human experience, so we don't witness it all, but we are creating consciously or unconsciously. Which sounds better? Let's create consciously because you can create an amazing life. You can have an easy life. You can create a life that you absolutely love and live it and have freaking fun along the whole process. I am thankful for that woman that came into my life and like was so toxic because I got where I am today because I put my foot down and said, I'm done. I'm going to be the best damn dad and man I can be. I'm going to figure out this anger thing. I'm not going to lay down and say, oh, well, as Pastor said, I'm going to be angry my whole life. So I just got to keep giving it to God, but I'm going to have this struggle my whole life. No, I am fucking free. Do I get angry every now and then? Of course I do. But you know what? I catch that shit and go, ooh, what the hell just triggered me?
Yes.
What was that?
Yeah.
And I go in and heal. And you know what I do right away? To my daughter, I'm so sorry. That had nothing to do with you. She knows it now. She gets all upset. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then she goes, Dad, I forgive you. I'm like, that was all my shit. And then I tell her, because I go, what was that about? What's going on inside me? Sometimes it's immediate that I get an answer. Here's where your fear is. That's all anger is a secondary fear. I mean, secondary to it's a emotion to fear. That's what I was trying to say. Secondary emotion to fear. And men live in that, right? And they got this, oh, I got to do this. And they try to protect. And I'm like, you know what? Do you know what makes a man very sexy to a woman? When they feel protection, not physically. Women feel safe when they can open up without being criticized, judged, told to let it go, tried to be fixed. Yeah. You listen.
Yeah. You feel heard.
And you embrace them because this is why they go and talk to their women friends anyway, because they can just be free about it. Mm-hmm. And if a woman wants an answer, wants you to help her solve something, she'll freaking say it. Yeah. Just listen. And or like there's times I'm going, like I do with my daughter. She's been my greatest damn teacher. And I know when I get into a new relationship, I'm like, dude, I'm going to be awesome because she's been my greatest. I'm like, she's been setting me up. And I'm like, wow, this woman who's coming in my life is not going to know. She's never experienced what's about to come, but it's also going to be a great, she's going to become my spiritual journey as well, because she's going to help me continue to evolve. And that's how relationships are supposed to be.
Co-creation.
Not what you got to fulfill this in me and you got to fulfill this as codependent shit. Well, you're making me feel this way and this way. It's like, oh shit. No, I got to heal. It's two whole and complete people. We got to realize this. We're already whole and complete. And I'm being triggered right now, and you were helping me feel my own shit. And and the divine feminine is so goddamn powerful that's what's being restored, because the toxic masculinity, right? And I know there's a lot of men that freaking hate that. I'm like, yeah, if you're hating, it's because that's where you're living. And I'm like, well, it's true, because I was there. I'm like, yeah, that's true. The masculine has been so damaged and hurt, and it's damaged the feminine, where the feminine used to be extremely powerful. Man couldn't handle that, so they repressed and suppressed the woman. And this is not rib. This is truth that came to me. I was like, oh my gosh, what we're seeing now, the end of the world, right? As we know it. And we can play that song. That song's playing in my head. It's the end of the world. This is revelation, if you really want to look at it, but not in that sense of things. Things are being stored, but now it's not the divine feminine becoming more powerful. We're having a balance. We're working in co-creating, where the female is part of the ideas and the creation, right? The womb, creating, which we all have divine feminine and masculine energy inside of us, but that woman is going to come in, help the man heal. Yeah. And then say, you're playing small, get your ass out there and go create this thing. And then the man takes that and goes. That's where the masculine comes in and creates. And it's going to be beautiful. Yeah. I know everybody's watching this right now. If you're in the middle or listening to this, is in the middle of this freaking, it seems like the world is falling apart, and it is, but it has to be destroyed. Mm-hmm. But I promise you, not too long from now, it's going to be beautiful. Yeah. It's going to be beautiful. You have to be, a lot of times we have to be destroyed to be rebuilt. I had to be destroyed. And that woman came in my life to destroy me, yeah, so that I can rebuild. Because my daughter, she calls her crazy pants because she was crazy, and I thought it was funny. and I said, she goes, you know, she did this. And I said, no, we got to be grateful for her, sweetheart. And there's times like things pop up. She'll like pop up every now and then, and I'll feel this stuff. I'm like, oh, got more to heal. Got more to heal. Send her love. Got more to heal. Got more to heal. And it's because it has nothing to do with anybody else. I said, baby, we got to be grateful for her. She says, why? I said, who am I today? She goes, you're an amazing dad. And I said, yeah. It took her doing what she did to get me here.
Wake up. And this is the recurring theme. And you know, this is kind of crazy, but I love card readings and all that, and
tarot stuff.
Yes, as I was preparing. No, this is the crazy, fun, cool part. This is the card that came up, the first one, Healing Man.
Ooh.
Isn't that wild?
Ooh, that gave me chills.
As I was sitting here and I'm spirit, show me what to bring up and talk to with Tony. This was the first card.
Can you take a picture of that and send that to me?
Yeah, I will.
Oh, that was okay. I got to share something.
I'm just sitting here with the full. I picked out 5 cards here, and I just left them here as a reminder, you know, just to keep them here. And as you were talking, you know, 36 minutes in or 30 minutes in, and you were talking about your dad and all that, I'm like, okay, this is what this is. This is about healing, and I think especially specifically with men, because this is very challenging for men to talk about this, emotions and healing and feeling it and knowing like there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's okay. This is just part of this is part of the process. This is how we awaken back to who we are. This is how we remember.
Yes.
And
oh, you know how freeing that is? Because I sit back and see a lot of these men suffering. I also see a lot of women. I've worked with a lot of women, and I worked with a lot of men when I was doing coaching. Now I'm moving completely away from the coaching side of things because there's a lot of new things, and I'm actually working behind the scenes. I'm updating my site. I have some things, but I actually took, when this pandemic started going on, and we were forced into the quarantine, which of course I was like, this is stupid, but it was great because I'm like, oh, I'm forced to deal with, like, they kept telling me, this is the time you don't do anything else. We'll take care of you financially. You don't have to worry about anything. You need to go in and heal. You got to be prepared because there's some stuff coming. This is just the beginning. I'm like, just the beginning? Are you kidding me? And I actually had a download yesterday because I heard this ringing in my ear and I never paid attention to it. It was not the same you hear like, oh, that's like you hear. I'm like, it was faint. And I heard it 3 times. And I go, do you get a message for me? And then I heard all of a sudden I heard a few months later, get your journal. Okay. And they're like, you're being prepared for the big stage is what came to me. For the big stage, more chaos is it's going to intensify with periods of like checkpoints is what came to me, checkpoints of more intense, this energy, because the energy is rising now, getting ready to rise more. So more and chaos is going to ensue all the way through election. It's about to get even crazier, and even up to election, it's going to get really, really crazy. And then after that, it's just going to, don't know everything's going to happen, but it's like, all right. And they're like, don't be afraid. Stay here, stay connected here. And you do what you're supposed to be. You need to continue to heal on the inside and prepare yourself, because one of the things, and it's awesome because you had the picture of Jesus on that card, right? So this was months ago. No, this was November last year. Yeah, okay, months ago, but that was like months ago. I was reading this book, and all of a sudden I had this, you're going to be carrying on the work of Jesus.
Wow.
And it freaked me out. So when you say that the healer of the ages and just Jesus, that's what gives me chills. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're confirming. But I didn't tell too many people because I'm like, people are going to think I'm freaking crazy. I am, but, but I'm like, I am. I'm a big freaking weirdo. But I actually started shaking. I started crying, sort of hyperventilating because it was so much. But I was like releasing at the same time. And they're like, Tony, you got to open your heart. You're so damn afraid of your power. Even this spiritual, and I'm realizing a lot of this power, I'm still afraid of it. Going fully into the unknown.
Right.
Like, have you watched Frozen 2?
Not yet.
Oh God, I can't share it with you then. Have you heard the song, Into the Unknown? You haven't heard that? Well, it's like there's a song in it, but then I forgot who sings it now. Why am I drawing a blank on who sings it? It's in the song, but then there's a band that sings it. I ended up buying the song because it related to me, because it was right when all this happened. Whoops. That's not what I wanted. Wrong place. Sorry. Stop it. That was funny. I was trying to find it real quick.
March into the beat.
I don't even know what that was. I had opened Pandora and I wasn't trying to open Pandora.
Yeah, I agree with you though, Tony. I think that, and this is also, so for the past 6 weeks, I've been feeling
Panic at the Disco. Oh my gosh.
No, Panic at the Disco. I've heard of that band.
So they sing Into the Unknown. I'm afraid of what I'm risking. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I finally remembered. I didn't see it, but I finally.
You're good.
I'm afraid of what I'm risking when I follow you into the unknown. And it's about stepping into your full power and being the bridge between the spirit world and the human world.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of what I'm risking because there's been a lot of fear within me. If I step into that power, and I was afraid of love that powerful because I've been so burned by love and by my dad.
Yeah.
If I step into that, if I've been hurt already from love,
yeah.
Right? My wife died. It's going to be, I'm being punished because she got taken away and I got hurt. Right. I don't want to experience that again.
Yeah.
And if I'm feeling that kind of love, I'm going to die. And this is the thing that I was working through. Right. So I was feeling that. And I go, no. And so there's been this healing of opening my heart, and there's being this afraid. And I had this dream about going down this river, this stream, and I'm on this raft and I have this big rope, and behind me was all this baggage, like just all of it. And then I turn back around and Jesus is right there. And I look forward and I see this waterfall and I get all this fear. It consumed me and I grabbed onto him. And he looked back at me and he says, "You're going over that waterfall. And whether you like it or not, it's time, you're going over it. Down below is the unknown into the power of who you really are." Now you can let go of that baggage and it'll be easy and fun, or you can hold on to it. You're still going to let it go, but it's going to be painful.
Mm.
And I remember saying, I can't let it go. And then he started laughing. And then there's people floating around us, right? The collective, they're laughing. I'm like, it's not funny. And they're like, it kind of is. They're like, you're going over it. And I'm like, all right. And someone mentioned to me, like, the water meant energy flow.
Yeah.
Right. And opening that heart. So I've been just working through that energy flow of opening my heart. And that's been my biggest thing. And sometimes I try to force it. And when we try to force healing, it doesn't work. And there's been times where, and I've faced death. Man, I've had some quantum healing done. I've had some theta healing, which was freaky to experience. I actually went into a panic attack during it because there was so much healing that because literally my heart was opening. That was death to me. It is death.
Death of the ego.
Death of the ego.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I'm like, my heart's pounding and I'm like trying to like, oh, and I'm like, no, breathe into, she's like, keep breathing. And this light. And she's like, they want to upgrade your DNA. They want to upgrade your nervous system. Oh, Jesus is here to help facilitate this healing. She goes, and afterwards she says, that's the second time that he's showed up with everybody that I've done healing on.
Wow.
And I'm like, he shows up. So then this, right. It's
confirmation.
It's more confirmation of this is, but I'm doing it a little differently. Like I'm not the only one that's doing the work of healing, healing where Jesus work, right? But it's that heart center, Jesus energy. So I met with this woman who's helped me do some hypnosis healing, and we met, and I walked in, and she immediately felt, she's like, oh, he's like Jesus. She felt this energy. Oh, he's got that. And I still wasn't feeling that power. And I'm starting to finally, after all this last few months of doing some continue to do deep healing. And I'm continuing on until, boom, stage time, which is August sometime, well, almost by my birthday, which is August 15th. But I had an astrology reading and it shows like around my birthday time is when it says I'll be a public figure. And I was like, whoa. Whoa. But she's like, the Jesus in her. And I shared this story with her that I'm sharing here that I freaked out. I actually had to get down in child pose yoga because I was like so freaked out, crying and shaking, and I was cold. It was like, oh my gosh, what the hell? What the hell's going on? I'm like, you're going to be continuing on the work because I have empath ability. I could feel and tell people, here's what's going on with you. Yeah. And it's going to be beautiful. And I was using this in coaching, but it's completely different now. I'm using the comedy piece. So I have two sides of the business.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that I didn't realize it. So I have the Tony freaking Fonte show. That's the comedy side. That's the fun. And then I have Laughing Through Life, which is still fun, right? It's transformation. That's the transformational piece, but it's making transformation fun. It's not your generic, we're going to go through this. Are you going to feel some pain? Yeah, but you're going to laugh at yourself. You're going to laugh at the craziness. I'm going to laugh at you, but I'm really laughing at the stuff you're buying into, not really laughing at you. But it's going to be fun. And you're going to see the silliness of the shit that you've held on to your whole life. That's the Laughing Through Life piece. Yeah. And I'm no longer doing one because I was trying to do group coaching. I'm like, I want to do group coaching. Then I'm like, I want to be on the stage speaking. And then but all of that's helping me get to where it's at. And I did some online comedy shows because, and I realized I don't want to do stand-up comedy. I'm an entertainer, but I don't want to do stand-up. I want to do sketch comedy. That's my thing, like Saturday Night Live, but spiritual stuff.
I love that idea.
But I had to screw up stand-up comedy, but I'm so glad I did not do this live because I had a live event scheduled, right? But it got canceled because this is right in March because of COVID. And so I'm like, I'm going to do it live. The first one tanked. I'm like, that was fucking horrible. I mean, it was, but I could own that. I'm like, that was horrible. That did not go how I thought it was going to go, how I envisioned it going. It was horrible. And the next time I'm like, I'm going to do some more skits and bring my daughter in onto this. And it was still not pretty, but it was better. And I go, that's what I love to do. I love doing sketch comedy, making fun of stupid shit, making light of things. So I have some other things that, like even my own life that I'm going to be doing funny stuff on. I just haven't done it yet. I haven't felt the inspiration. I'm done forcing things because that's what the old way of the masculine, right? The masculine energy is to force things, to hustle, grind. You got to force things to happen. You got to force wealth. You got to force this and you got to force that. Oh my gosh, it's so tiring and exhausting. And I'm like, no, I've done that for so long. And I've still fought it up until this point. Now I'm going, if I don't feel it, we're like, oh no, you got to fuck your feelings. I don't know. This is a different type of feeling. This is feeling from the intuition, the spirit. It's not feeling as in the feeling of the emotion piece of it. Sometimes I'm like, if I don't feel it, I'm not doing it. And I was told, if you don't feel it, like in the last 3 days, I had some more inspiration. I wrote 3 scripts for some comedy videos. One's probably going to trigger some people. It's not my intention, right? Actually, I rewrote a piece because one of it was I was coming from a place of not so much love. But it's comedy, and it deals with the masks and the government and that piece about making fun of things. And it's so ridiculous. Like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But because there are people who are doing that.
Right.
And my whole thing is, let me come from a place of love to think, so you can think differently and begin thinking for yourself.
Right.
And not just regurgitating what's being thrown at you. Because there's people regurgitating stuff that's been said in the media and everything else, right? That's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
It's true to them, and it's there. But I'm like, no, we've been almost robots because we're just believing the beliefs. And then we're like, I can't stand on my own because then I won't fit in. And that's death. And I've been there too. Like even now, I've been basing some stuff because you post anything now, it goes against, and people are coming at you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think that was funny. I'm posting it. I'm not, if you get mad, that's not me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is your responsibility. And the guy said this too. He's like, no, if you piss me off, it's your responsibility. And it's a hypocrisy to think that you're not responsible for it. No, it's not hypocrisy. Me triggering you has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with you. Now, if I'm coming from a place of being an asshole, okay, I have some responsibility there. But you still getting pissed off has nothing to do with me.
Right.
I'm responsible for how I came across.
Yeah.
But if I'm coming from,
and I think it's really important to really show your playfulness and your fun, because that's integrating everything where you're at. You're still going to have parts of ego. This is the other thing too that I think is very important to remember. We're not all spirit and we're not all human. We're a combination of the two. That is the beauty of being in these to create more variety and continue to experience new things and continue to find new solutions to new problems. It's going to be continuous so we can continue to expand. I mean, in the future, we're going to be so this is the beauty of combining the two, but it's kind of like you said, being that observer and no longer like bowing down to this ego. I'm a man and I make this amount of money and I'm a teacher, or I do this, or this is right, this is wrong. It's kind of like, oh, it's fluid. I can be this one moment and I can be this the next, and I can choose and I can decide. And it's just being open to that. And I think you said it right. It's like, you're going to trigger some people, and that's okay. I mean, I lose followers all the time. And for me, it's beautiful, because I'm like, yes, like more of the right people are here. More of the right people are here. This was a profound thought for me, actually, just a couple months ago when I was thinking about impacting the world. I'm like, okay, what would be 1%? Because I'm like, there's 7 billion, almost 8 billion people on the planet. It was 1%. It was still a huge number, Tony. So it's like, this is the thing, right? Like the work that we're doing and the work that we're going to continue to do, no one's going to hide from this. Whether we like it or not, we're going to have to face our shit. And it's going to get, I believe you're right, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
We're going through that right now. We're going through the Great Awakening.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. And so
some people won't.
And people are going to resonate with you. They're going to resonate with you so hard, because there's going to be experiences. You're a male, right? The identities that we have. This is the beauty of this. It's like, and I love that we're having this conversation right now, because I believe you're the first male I've interviewed in this podcast. And I know that there's men that follow me that are like, wow, I really love her teachings, but to be able to now learn further, or be in the vicinity of another person that is a male that maybe has, a daughter, or had a wife, or had experiences with their dad, and is trying to live this life of being more playful and funny and just letting go and healing. And what's healing and what does that even mean? And oh, that's giving me permission to now kind of explore that and not feel bad. And
Yes, not feel broken, because you're not broken. We're all whole and complete. We just forgotten who we are, but we also wanted to experience these experiences, right? So you mentioned it earlier about the ego, and we're always going to have this portion of us, right? But the ego is no longer in control, because we are a divine spiritual being, right? Having a human experience. So now what we're doing is, instead of the ego having this control, now we're giving control over to the spirit, right? To our soul, to say, I'm in control, but I'm still going to use you to help me evolve.
Yeah, we
That's
need
all
each
it
other.
is.
We're like this.
Yes, you're no longer an enemy.
Yeah.
Like, dying to the ego is the death of the ego. Doesn't mean it's actually dying or get rid of it, which I used to believe. I'm like, I want that fucker gone. I mean, but then I was defeating the purpose. And I'm actually, as I'm saying this now, it's actually confirmation for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm speaking something I never really fully spoken before. Death of the ego is not that it's actually dying and going away. Not in this lifetime. Maybe at some point, I don't know. Maybe we sin so much that it's never there. But I don't know if it'll be here, and maybe my daughter will help carry that on to where we're the new earth, right? The new heaven and new earth here on earth, right? Is experiencing that. I don't know. But I'm feeling the death of the ego is not the actual death of it. It is in the sense that it's dying to having control. It's no longer having control. The spirit now is in control. And it's like, we know everything. You already know everything. And now the ego is, you have these experiences and go, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I'm being triggered. I have this going on. Great. Okay. I'm going to surrender to you. That's what it is. I'm surrendering to my spirit to say, what is it? Boom. I heal, move forward, and continue to ascend, and continue to raise my vibration, which is all proven by science. When people say this is, no, it's quantum physics. It's been proven by science. We're all vibrational, energetic beings. All of us. If you look at that energy, everything, a thought is energy. Everything is energy, and we attract back that energy. This is why our realities, our physical realities, are not set in stone, right? There's things out of our control, yes, but in some way we are still manifesting it in some extent, because we are seeing it. We're in that timeline of seeing it. Even the stuff at the chaos, the COVID, and all this stuff, at some point our consciousness created that. And if we're playing the game, because that's all this is the damn game. The life is a game, and I'm like, this is a fucking game. Let's have fun with it. Or you can't have fun. People are dying. People die every day. I can't have fun because people are dying. Yes, it sucks that people are dying from this virus, right? It absolutely does. But there's nothing you can do that's going to stop someone from dying. There's no mask. There's no social distancing. If they're supposed to die by this virus, they're going to die. I know people are like, well, probably freak out. Some people are going to freak out at that, but it's the case. And I can say that confidently because there was time when my wife died. What if I could have done something different? There's not a damn thing. If it is their time, you're going, and there's going to be a lot more people checking out because they're like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. They're dying. I mean, we're seeing it. There's going to be a lot more death coming up. Not people killing each other, but you feel like, I'm done. I can't do it. I'm done. Whether it's the virus.
That's the vibrations too.
Yes, they're done. They're going to be better off on the other side to help facilitate this great awakening. Yeah, they're not here. Yes, it sucks when people die, right? But people are like, oh, death is a horrible thing. And it is, but I'm like, it's also a belief. Why can't you have fun with death?
Yeah. And why does death have to be so bad? Is it really bad? What do we know about being on the other side? I think it's total freedom on the other side. It's too bad that some of us have to wait until we die to feel that total freedom, because it's a possibility now.
Yes. And I was I was reading, you said feeling. I was reading The Power of Now again.
I love that.
And he was talking like when you die to the ego, right? When you face death, that's what we're doing. When we face our fears, we're facing death.
Yeah. And
you know what? I was afraid of death. And there's still part of me that still is, because I'm still healing some of those fears, right? And it's the fear of death. What does fear of death mean to me? I lose control. No, I almost drowned when I was 6 years old. I lost control. I never wanted to lose control. This is why we try to control everything in our world. Yeah. Everybody, on some form or fashion. We're afraid of losing control because that's death. And that's what's going on now. And this virus, I'm out of control. It's going to kill me. Even though it has a 99% survival rate, and the numbers are so crazy right now with the media and all this other stuff saying, like, man, I'm like, I've always been, something's not right. I don't know what it is. Something's not right. That's my higher self saying something's not right here. The mask is a physical representation because it's an outer thing of the stuff that we're trying to mask on the inside.
Wow. Yeah. I know I play a game now when I wear one because I have to when I go in the store or, I went to the mall the other day. I play a game now where I think about, I'm more aware of my words, or I'm more aware of my thoughts coming in, because it's an opportunity, right? Like to think before you speak, or to really think before you think, kind of thing. Like,
Yes.
Where is that coming from? So I try to play a little game with it. And that's really what this is all about, right? It's like, no matter what, we are going to go through these things. No matter what, we're going to experience challenges in our relationships, or our parenting, or in our growth, or in our spiritual awakening, or in our traumas, or in our processing this healing. No matter what, it's going to be uncomfortable. But if we can make game of it, or light of it, or make it more fun, or make it more playful, or realize that this is the process that we have to kind of unveil and walk through,
Yes.
and I don't care anymore, because I was very resistant towards it. I was like, I'm not going to wear a mask.
I still am, and I'm coming some clarity here, but what's not mandated here, like some stores are.
Yeah.
But we're in the Midwest where we're not hit so hard like Florida or whatever. I'm still going, this is stupid. And I still believe it is, but because it's like, we need to focus on building our immune system, building this thing. It's all fear-based. No, it's not fear-based. It's people are resisting that. It's not fear. I'm not afraid. I'm like, you are. The reason that you're lashing out because I triggered you because of this. It is. It's okay to say you're afraid. It's like, no, I'm thinking about other people. So someone who doesn't wear a mask, they don't care about other people. That's foolish. And there's so much shame and collective shame going on both sides, not just, and I've been guilty of it too, of doing that. And that's when even my reading says, Tony, put down your sword and pick up your shield. No more fighting this way. Love come from a place of love. And this is where I realized one of my scenes is like, that's more of a dig. Let me reword it. It's the same scene. I need to reword it a little different, and that's it. Because it came to me because I wrote 3 scripts in the last 3 days for videos. One of them I was in the shower and I had an idea, and I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden I started writing down, and 5 minutes later I had a 3-page script. This is when I'm in the flow, when I'm connected, I'm like, it's beautiful, and that's when I know. But then I started doubting it yesterday. I'm like, oh my gosh, should I be doing that because it's going to trigger this, because it's the ego trying to like bring me back, and I have all this resistance to it. Am I really in a place of love? And I talked to my friend, and she's like, I'm feeling I'm supposed to do a reading for you. And that's when she did it. And I go, well, I got to meditate. But it was after that, I felt this great peace. I go, I haven't even meditated, and you brought me to peace. But I want everybody to understand. So I talk about people looking for happiness and seeking happiness, right? Happiness isn't all an inside job. There's not a damn thing that's going to make you happy and outside. Not no woman, not no man, not no thing, not no wealth, none of that. But because you're happy, you can have those and experience those things. And then you know what? You deserve to have amazing things. That was one of the things I realized too, is like, you have to own and accept your dreams. It's okay to fully accept your dreams and not feel guilty for having them because of religion or for the family or whatever. And I've realized that I was still holding on to, I feel guilty for wanting these things, wanting a great life, wanting an easy life where I'm traveling the damn world, experiencing the world from all the greatest beaches in the world, and having and building memories and having fun. And building a life and a business that allows me to do that. I was holding, I'm like, no, I deserve it all. And I felt in that power. I'm like, I deserve wealth. I deserve having this thing. And I deserve to build a business and a legacy that people need to serve people, to build that, to do that, and make my dreams the centerpiece and build my life around that centerpiece. That is what we should be doing. And not feel guilty, not feel ashamed of it, and go live it. Life does not have to be hard, and life can be fun even when shit's falling apart. Laugh at the mask on. You know what? I've resisted, and it's probably why I've struggled with some of this stuff too. We may be mandated. I don't know. And I'll still have my belief like this is dumb, but why not have fun with it? That was my human side going, damn it, no, resist this shit, and get pissed off. And when people are trying to shame, and I go, wait a minute, that's not me. And I step back from it, and people can shame and I don't get triggered by it because I'm not there. And I'm like, if someone triggers me, I don't go and respond to their post. I have before because I was triggered because I was in there. It's like this guy who responded, I'm like, dude, you never respond to anything on my posts. Now I say one thing and like I had like 4 or 5 people that never respond to my things lash out. Smart and conscientious people follow science, believe in science and this and that, and dumb idiots. Or I'm like, well, the moment you call someone a name, you're no longer intelligent at this point, right? You're intelligent, but your emotional intelligence lacking. Like, no longer are you there. Because if you're resorting to name calling, that's your own bullshit. You feel like when you said idiots and whatever, you feel like an idiot. So you're lashing out. You want people to conform to make you feel better. So thank you for kind of reaffirming me on this mask thing that I've just been resisting, right? And I don't have to yet. Some stores you do. And I've worn it once when I went and got a pedicure with my daughter afterwards and didn't know it until I got there. And of course I couldn't stand it. I was like, I can't stand this thing. I can't breathe. And I've been going into places that I don't have to wear it because there's not, most of our places you can. They want you to, but you don't have to. And I'm like, I'm not fearful of this thing. And I giggle at some people the way they're wearing the mask. Because it's like, that's not going to prevent you from getting it. The way you're doing it. I mean, it's like you're moving, you're touching it, you're moving it around, you have it here, you have it over your nose, but your mouth is open. It's like, no. If you're going to do it, dispose of it afterwards or put it somewhere so you can wash it afterwards because you have the germs all over it. And I mean, it's like, no. Or you come out, you take it down so you can talk on your phone. I'm like, you're putting the germs all over it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't mask it, right? So let's talk about building our immune systems and being healthy, because like people are hiding behind the mask, right? Because if they're hiding behind themselves and using it as this shield, right? And it's like becoming a superpower of this physical sense, like I am completely protected from everything, and everybody else is too if they wear the mask. So
and
we're seeing this.
I think it's absolutely coming from a place of not knowing.
Absolutely. It's all unconscious.
Yeah. It's absolutely coming from a place of not knowing. And I think, you know, one of the things I felt very passionate about all this when it first started in March, like right now we should be strengthening our immune systems. We should be talking about health, like what's going to be the new normal. You get to decide what your new normal is, because normal before was unhealthy. Normal before was diabetes. Normal before was everybody on some type of medication.
Heart disease.
So what is the new normal going to be? You know, that's the question. And so, but at the end of the day, and this is the beauty of these people lashing out, or this is the beauty of these people unfollowing. This is the beauty of that, because we're not meant to serve everybody.
Yes. And I'm learning that too. So one of the biggest pieces for me was I don't want to be rejected. If I'm speaking my truth, and I'm speaking this stuff, I'm going to be rejected and I'm going to die, because ultimately, and then I heard a song, one of my mentors, he played this song and I forgot, I have to look it up, but he says, if one person loves you, you will never be rejected. And I went, wow. And what if that one person, that only person was you? You loved yourself. Because love, before you can fully love someone else, right? You have to love yourself.
Yeah.
And it's about, and like this lady keeps reaching out to me. She's a Christian lady, went through a horrible divorce. She's been dating, and then she's like, Tony, I see you and your daughter have fun all the time, and you seems like you're always having fun. I'm like, for the most part, like 99% of the time we're having fun. I'm human. I'm going to have my moments. They just don't last long.
Yeah.
Right? But it's when I disconnect and I get pissed off because I'm living, and here's one of the things for me. It's like, I want to be free, right? Freedom is everything. Awakening, freedom. The mask, government. It's like, you're trying to take my freedom away. Who did that to me? My dad. So even my own resistance to this mask and everything else is healing for me. I'm still healing just like everybody else. I still face fears like everybody else. It's like, no, I'm resisting because my dad told me I couldn't do this and I couldn't be this and I couldn't do that, because he was told that and he was living that, and he oppressed me. And I lived my whole life fucking living in that lie. And here I am becoming free, and you're trying to push me back down again. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But I don't have to do that. Right? I don't have to. No one has to do that. It's about healing that shit.
Well, it's like reliving the pain. it's reliving. We start, our brain starts to try to like put these things together, like, oh, this is that same red flag, someone's trying to control you, someone's trying to tell you what to do, someone is trying to hurt you. And so we immediately like respond, like, that's why people have anger when they're driving, or, they just say things automatically out of their mouth without thinking. Or, for me in relationships, romantic relationships is where everything gets uncovered. And so I'm able to see how I would respond, right? And it's like, whoa, okay. Like, as you start to like look at those things though, after
Yes.
then you're able to, start to heal and be aware. This is everything that we've been talking about this whole time. And then the next time, it's less of that, like automatic response. You kind of have this like, oh, like here we are again. So, and so it goes. So it's never, I always say like to all my clients and everybody that I work with, because sometimes they have this perception of like, oh, Leslie doesn't go through anything. And I'm like, y'all, yes, I do. But it's about doing that thing less, first being aware of it, right? And then doing that thing gradually less and less and less, and doing the new thing more and more and more. But it doesn't mean you don't kind of dip back in, right? Like this thing. You do, but it's just maybe less time, less of a response, less of a pain on you, less of a pain on others, and so it goes.
And I love that you said that, right? Because this month, June, right, there's been an energy of reliving old patterns. And I've had some old patterns come up that I thought I completely healed, that obviously I did not, because it's coming back up to finally release it. And I want everybody to know too, that when you start dealing with things, the deeper the pain, the deeper the trauma, the longer it's going to take and the more it's going to come back up. So don't get like, damn, I thought I dealt with this. And I've done that too. What the fuck? I thought I dealt with this. Why is this coming back up? It's coming back up so we can heal it and to deal with it. So
and go next level.
Yes, you're going to the next level. So you don't stay there like, was it this month? Yeah, it was this month. I went to the chiropractor. I got an adjustment. I had but I was off. My energy was just off and I could feel it. I was going through another ascension, but sometimes when we go through another ascension.
Oh, it's uncomfortable.
Oh, you feel like you're going crazy. So people think like, oh, it's just peaceful moment. No, you were like, sometimes you're like, I'm not crazy. I'm not going crazy. I mean, you feel like you're losing your shit. So he adjusted me, right? So my nervous system, my energetic field is moving. So now this stuff's really flowing. So I got to go get a coffee at Starbucks. I'm getting her a Frappuccino. I'm going to coffee and I'm off and I feel it. I'm telling her, I'm like, hey, I'm off and I'm crabby as shit, just so you know. So I'm going over, there's two lanes and I'm going over, right? And this guy, like, I'm trying to go over in this far lane so I can turn and I'm already starting to come over. He decides he just wants to go by and comes over and honks and like gets mad at me. Well, he was in the wrong, obviously, because he's trying to fly around because he's in more of a hurry and he's getting mad at me. And I haven't done this in a long time. I flipped out and I was like, wrong. I was like, oh, and I'm like, come up next to him and he's like yelling at me. I'm yelling at him and he flips me off. And I'm like, my daughter's like, what the hell is going on? And I mean, I was like, totally gave that guy my power.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to turn. He's going by and he flips me off. And for a split second, I went to hit the gas to go after him. I mean, literally, I was like, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you that you're wrong. And I went, I started to go, and I went, and I caught myself and I went, and I breathed and I turned and I took a deep breath and I was just all this anger, which I can't stand that feeling, that anger. And I go, and I looked at my daughter, I go, well, that didn't go as I wanted to. I go, that was interesting, huh? And she goes, because she was like, you could see the fear in her eyes, like she didn't want to say anything. And I go, well, that was interesting. And she goes, yeah. And I go, that was kind of crazy. And she goes, well, that guy was being an idiot. And I go, yeah, and so was I. And I owned it. And I was like, wow, I haven't been like that. And it took me a while to come down. Like my energy was off because I was moving. I had stuff moving but it was all. And what I found out, it was a lot of, because it was like a day later, that energy that was coming up was stuff from my dad controlling me and not feeling free, right? So there was anger, animosity, hatred, all coming up. And guess what? That guy came by to trigger it, to make it come up.
Yeah.
I didn't respond as well, but I didn't go after the guy. When I used to have major road rage when I was in my 20s and 30s. And I was like, because usually I'm just like, I'll feel it at first. I'm like, oh, nope. And I just smile and laugh. I'm like, what? They're dealing with a lot of shit, whatever. And there was one other time I kind of like, what the hell are you doing, asshole? I mean, it's just like, but that's as far as it goes. And occasionally I'm like, whoop, hold on, let's bring it back. But this time I lost it because I was bringing up that old anger.
Right.
And there's
it's
times
all
now.
opportunity. It's all opportunity.
Yes, all of it. So everything we experience, people, everything we experience is working for us. Just because it seems painful, seems shitty. Well, this is horrible. This is it. I tried to follow my heart and it didn't work because I got burned. Did you? Or was it your mind convincing you were? Or it was exactly what your heart wanted you to experience and you didn't like the way it felt. So therefore you're like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't want to experience it anymore. The pain we experience is actually helping us grow if we allow it to. Stop feeling ashamed for being angry. Stop feeling ashamed for being abusive. Stop being ashamed for insecure and toxicity. There's nothing fucking wrong with you.
Mm-hmm. And
You're just living a painful life.
Yeah. And that's the part that still learning too, is like in those moments that happens, I get upset with myself. And I'm like, really, Leslie? We're here again. And it's realizing and recognizing that that's how I'm talking to myself, because even though, I'm all about self-love and fully accepting yourself, there's levels to that shit.
Yes.
And especially in the dark or in the night of the soul, or when you're in those moments of that ascension and you're going through that chaos and kind of unveiling those shadows, that's when it matters the most.
Yes.
Because we can either punch ourselves and beat ourselves up and make it last a lot longer than it needs to be and make a house there, build a home there, get real familiar there and stay stuck there. Or we could just sleep there for the night, give ourselves some grace, be kind to ourselves, reflect,
Yes.
Journal, take it easy, not really push ourselves into anything that we don't know yet. Don't make a harsh, rash decision. And that's where it kind of takes into like, and as you mentioned, like the balance, right? The masculine and the feminine energy. That's really how this is all developing within us. It's balancing that masculine and feminine energy, because I have been a wounded masculine energy for a long time. It's been this wounded feminine, but by way of holding on to that masculine energy. I got this. I don't need anybody. Work, do. I'm going to show, I'm going to prove.
Yes.
I'm going to fight my way through this. And so it's like, wait a minute, but putting that down and allowing myself to now be receptive to this love from the universe, from God, from Jesus, from the goddesses, whatever you want to call it, all of them. I think it's multiple.
It's all of it.
It's all of it. And then also being able to take that inspired action. And so it's very, very interesting. It's just very much getting to know self again and not being in shame of those human parts that are necessary for us to help, or not really help, but be a facilitator of this change and of this growth and of the new world that's coming. That's here.
The new world order is not what we think it is. And people are saying, like, oh, new world, or the government's taking over, which they're trying to do some sneaky stuff. We know this, and I've had downloads, and I've had other people, been told things are happening.
Yeah,
this is what they're trying to do, because the darkness is losing power.
Exactly. Or we can focus on our power, because that's really what the fear is, right? It's just like war. It's just like war.
We are in a war.
Spiritual warfare, right? Like if you think about war, what do? Well, you come back stronger, right? You have new tools, or you have other ways of fighting. So they know the power that we hold.
And they know that they're losing, and it's inevitable. So like put down your sword, Tony, and stick up your shield.
Yeah.
You're coming from a different place. No longer are we going from a war of wounding each other, because no one wins when there's in a war. It's like, oh, one wins and one, no. Both sides suffer.
Yeah.
But this one we're going through is actual World War III. It's a spiritual war.
Yeah.
But the darkness is losing. So as a healer, coming out right into the public view, sharing a different way. But I
Yeah.
have to be in this love with my
Yeah.
shield, no longer a sword.
Yeah.
Right? The ego, when I want to lift it up, and this is what came down, I was like, ooh, I was coming with, I put my sword back up because I want to react. I want to defend.
Right.
I got to defend why I'm sharing what I'm doing, why I believe the way I believe. I don't need to defend. I don't need to, because all it's doing is causing more division, which that's what the darkness wants.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing, this division. They want to create this chaos and to create more as division and make things more than what they really are so they can infiltrate and try to keep what's going, but they can't. No, the Federation we know is coming. The divine Federation is coming. It's time. They're like, no, the earth is raising her vibration that's healing. We're coming. The vibration is coming. So all we're seeing, all this chaos, is because this energy is rising. It dropped for a moment, but now it's rising. And we're going to have another period of continuous rising. And it's going to, this is why it's intensifying, because that lower vibrational shit cannot stay in it. This is when you meditate and all the shit comes up. Like, oh, I meditated. It was I had all the shit come up. Yes, it can't stay there because your vibration's already rising. Then you have a healer like you and I. We go around someone. Our energy is automatically going to make theirs rise. And they're one of two things is going to happen. They're going to feel so damn uncomfortable around us. They're going to lash out.
Or they're going to rise with us.
Or they're going to lash out at us. And at first they'll resist it and keep trying to lash to get us to come down. Or they'll just move away from us quietly and disappear. Like the followers just leaving. They're like, oh, I'm not ready for that. People are going to be triggered by me. Some are going to be triggered. And then eventually they're going to, okay, I see it. I'm going to move. And some are just going to go away.
Yeah.
They're going to move away.
And with some people, you'll plant the seed, right? And be that influence. As we stay in our connection, we will influence the people around us. And I think that that's the beauty of all these things coming up for both of us in our own personal lives that, you know, are very uncomfortable, because in order to be that person, that leader, that public, you know, face, well, we have to be able to be ready for what's to come with that.
And that's all this preparation right now. We got to get to a point where we're healing and we're able to do that. Now, even when those lashbacks, and I wanted to defend and I wasn't defending, and I responded to some, but I got some great content, I felt more of my power. I'm like, wait, I felt rejection, but it wasn't me being rejected. It's rejecting the idea of what I'm coming. They're really rejecting themselves and they're rejecting the truth. It wasn't me. And I'm like, I'm still here. I didn't die. Yeah. I mean, I didn't handle it as eloquently, but that's exactly what I needed at that moment, because now I'm like, ooh, I want to do more of that. I want to do this. I want to respond this way. Oh, but I learned, I can respond back this way. If I choose to respond to someone who's completely triggered, and some I can just say, nope, I'm not responding back to you. Goodbye. Because you can't, there's no defending. You don't need to defend. But if you feel an energetic going, wait, this person needs something different, and you respond in love. Yeah. It's a lot different. Like this guy, I decided, because he kept responding, this is not humorous. This is not funny. There's people dying. And I'm like, well, here's what's going on. He's like, well, you know, you're finding this and this, there's just nothing in here. Like, you know, there's good people with good intentions end up in hell. And I'm like, dude, we're already in hell. We've always been in hell. There's no hell outside of this. This is hell here. And I was like, look, and he's like, I don't believe you can have fun when people are dying and there's people financially being, and I went, oh my gosh, that's so horrible. And I go, no, I don't believe that. I'm like, we can't control everything that's out. You know, there's some things that are outside of our control, like people are going on, right? There is, but we can control us. And you said respond earlier, right? So some things we react. There's a difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is coming from straight out of control, irrational emotion. Right now, everything we do is emotional, right? But how we're responding, how we're lashing out, it's because we're being triggered. That's a reaction. Responding is going, I'm not being triggered by it, but here, I'm going to come with you some truth, or here's my opinion, my belief on that. And we come from a mutual thing. I'm like, look, we're not going, people are trying to, like, you kept lashing out, trying to get me to agree with them. I'm like, you're like, you can't admit when you're wrong. And I'm like, dude, there's no right or wrong. Except that. And they couldn't handle it. I was not engaging. And they're like, you can't admit. I'm like, I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I'm like, we could both be right and not agree. What? No. Just something little like, we could both be right and not agree. We can agree to disagree. I will honor your truth, honor mine or not. Doesn't make it any different. but I will honor you because that's your truth. That's what you believe. I'm not going to say you're freaking wrong. That's just stupid. What constitutes me being wrong and you being right? Because you believe a certain way and some people believe with you, agree with you. It's like, look at all these people. They agree with me. Well, guess what? There's a lot of people that agree with me. So I'm like, who's right or wrong? No. It's a difference of opinion, difference of belief, different timelines, different parts of awakening. And it's okay to have all of it. And we can still love each other.
And we kind of need all of it, right? Because if we didn't have people that, for example, then they wouldn't need us. Like, I've built passion through this because I want to share this experience with other people so that they can come to this feeling of empowerment and feeling connected and feeling guided, right? But if everybody was connected and guided, well, then we wouldn't have these passions.
We wouldn't be doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
We're not forever. Like someone responded like, oh, those people who rejected you, he's like, no, they may be great clients. I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm like, no, these
you're
people
not you're not here to prove anything to anyone either.
I'm like, they're not. I said, maybe down the road, but these aren't for me. And I go, the way I do things, I'm not doing group coaching or in that sense. And I'm not doing one-on-one coaching anymore. So mine's all going to be an online kind of thing and maybe some live events and retreats at some point. But I'm creating what I'm doing now is I'm creating 2 courses. I have a free video that I'm creating. It's like I have the infrastructure on my website built. It's not live because I don't have everything else done, but it's built. So all I got to do is do the rest of them. Like record these videos is what I got to do.
Yeah.
So I'm creating a membership community. So I'm having these phases. So I'm having courses and I'm starting out with 2 different courses. One's a relationship with your kids course and how to have fun.
Beautiful.
And build amazing relationship with your kids, especially teenagers.
Yeah.
Right. I've done it for 9 years. And the last 6 years has been beautiful. And I'm created this amazing relationship with my daughter. Where I used to be this ass. I'm like having fun and I embarrassed the shit out of her where we're in the stores. But you know what I'm teaching her, even though I'm embarrassing her? How to fucking live.
Yeah.
How to live in the moment. Because people are like, how do you die? I go, I surprise myself because I don't know what's going to happen when I'm somewhere. So I'll see something in the store. And I'm like, and I'll hear this. Oh, that's funny. Let's do it. I mean, that's literally what happens. And my daughter goes, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it comes up, I'm like, this is fun. It's like, there's people watching. I'm like, yeah, they'll laugh too. And they do. They'll end up laughing for a minute. And then I'm like, even for a moment, right? Even for a moment, if I'm doing something crazy and they giggle for a moment, what if they could just have peace for that 2 seconds that they laughed at me doing something crazy and then laughing because I embarrassed my daughter. She's learning to live fully, to be spontaneous. I don't like to plan a lot of things. Some things I do plan, but I have flexibility. The people who got to plan everything out is because they're trying to control the world because if it doesn't work out. And guess what happens when things go horrible? They flip out. My mother-in-law, because I still call her my mother-in-law, and my wife died because we're still around. She freaks out when things don't go as planned. And I'm just like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We just and go. And she's like, but this, I'm like, I didn't want you to have a good time. I'm like, I'm having a great time. Who says I might have a good time? Because we're not doing exactly what we planned we were going to do. I'm going to do something different and have fun. That's it. In December, I got rear-ended. My car got totaled. An SUV slammed into me. 50 mile an hour, and I was at a dead stop. He went into my trunk. I had no trunk. I hit the car in front of me because he slammed me. I mean, I was a pinball. I was freaking out at first, right? I walked away from it. Walked away. And the cops, EMTs were like, you should not be standing here right now. Mm-hmm. It was also the universe doing a wake-up call because I was too busy focused on the path. They had to wake me up. I had to face death. I was me facing death too. He got arrested. He was drunk at 2:00 in the afternoon. He was already a convicted felon. He tried to walk away from the scene and say he wasn't the driver, which I still laugh at. This is what fear makes us do some stupid shit. And he helped me push my car off the road after he pulled out of my rear end and pulled over. He helped me push the car off. There was an off-duty police officer to help saw all of it. Helped all of us. He saw this guy trying to go into the Panda Express and come out and leave like he was coming out of the store but wasn't a part of it. He got nabbed. Cop shows up, the chief shows up because this all happened before they got there. And the chief comes over. He's like, who was in that white vehicle? And I'm like, that guy. And he goes, and I'm like, what is going on? Well, he gets arrested when I was talking to the cop because they needed me to do a statement because I'm the only one that saw him get out of the vehicle. They're like, yeah, he denied it. But he had all these things. They hit him with 5 felonies. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if he didn't have insurance? I'm screwed. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, my daughter's at school because I was on my way to go pick her up. And I had all this moment, what am I going to do about this car? And I sat back, and next thing you know, I was laughing with the cops. I was laughing with the firefighters. I was laughing with the EMTs. I'm laughing. I had the other people involved. The lady was scared. It was her first wreck. I'm laughing. We're having fun. I'm like, I looked, I go, so you're going to need a Band-Aid on your car, huh? And she starts laughing. And that's what I do. I go to the emergency rooms. I feel like I got to go to the emergency room. I got to go like, you want to go now? I go, no, I got to go pick my daughter up. She's freaking out. She did. She freaked out. Thought something bad happened because, she lost her mom. What happened to me?
Right.
Even though I called and said I'm going to be there, she was still freaking out. I go, I know. I got to get to my daughter first. I'll go afterwards. I did. I'm laughing with the doctor. The lady, the reception who checks in people, right? She's having a rough day. I could see it. I could feel it. She's like, I'm having one of those days. And I said, well, did you get your ass handed to you in a car? And she's like, no. And I'm like, you have a pretty damn good day. And she starts laughing for a moment. If we can laugh even in the shit, we can laugh even when there's death of a loved one. I've done it. When my wife died, I had moments of grief too, obviously. I had people laughing at her funeral. I had people laughing at my mom's funeral. There's people that celebrate on the other side of the world when someone dies because their beliefs are they celebrate death, not mourn death.
Right.
It's a belief that people die, it's got to be a horrible thing. What if it can be fun?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're not going to be sad, right? So being in a state of peace, right, doesn't mean, or in a state of greatness, right, doesn't mean that you're going to be happy all the time, going to be positive all the time. You can experience sadness. And I actually experienced this just the other day. I had a lot of anxiety, but I was at peace. Peace supersedes happiness.
Yeah.
Peace supersedes sadness. You can have peace and be settled and still experience those emotions. And it's okay because we're supposed to experience that, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to be happy all the damn time because you're not.
And I think the peace comes from knowing
who you
that
are.
Who you are, and that this is part of the process. It's all good.
But you are connected to who you are. What you've done, if you lifted the veil and your ego is connected to the soul is more in charge, but your ego is still experiencing the human experience. But you're at peace because you know who you are, and you know it's going to be okay because your soul is going, you're good.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. You're good. And we know, so we're feeling the anxiety, right? We're feeling like, oh, I got stuff to work through. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm observing it. We're becoming the observer. Now there's times still, it's like, oh, money will come up, right? That's one of my biggest fucking things. And I get frustrated still. I'm like, damn it, why? I know it's going to go away. It's still the old belief patterns, but I sit back. Sometimes I get caught up in it for a moment, and I'm like, damn it, I said I wasn't going to get sucked into it and react to it, and I did it. And I go, and I start beating myself. I'm like, no, stop. Till you fully heal this, it's going to come back up.
Yeah.
Till it's fully healed, it's coming.
Those lessons that continue to show until we grow.
Yeah, and we're going to heal. There's no fake it until you make it. Stop with the fake it until you make it crap. Just, hey, I'm experiencing this shit right now, and I'm not doing that.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah. And that's okay. And the more that we talk about this, and I really appreciate this conversation that we had today, Tony, because it's really about just being less impatient with ourselves and stop trying to hide from these things that are here and they're real. And if we can just have more dialogue like this with other people about how normal this is and how it's going to be okay, and how trusting something that maybe we can't fully comprehend, and it's just a beautiful door for opportunity for more people to start doing this. So
yes,
go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, to get in contact with you. And
yes. So you can go to tonyfonte.com. It's not completely updated because I haven't launched all that stuff yet. So you're going to still see part of the old stuff. Like I did update the about me page, which actually I'm getting ready to update it some more because I've gotten some more clarity this past week and yesterday. So I'm going to be updating that and this new stuff. But in the next, I would say by August 1st, maybe a little sooner, I don't know, but definitely by August 1st, I'm going to have the new platform rolled out where you can get the free video, 5 tips to having more fun in life, right? And then I have two online courses that I'm launching. They're going to be very inexpensive because that's where they are. And then I'll have a membership community for those who want to go deeper, to where we're going to have more of the group healing where you're working through all the stuff. You're going to have a community of like-minded people, freaking awesome weirdos, right? That are there supporting you on your spiritual awakening journey. Because that's who I serve.
Yeah.
People who are either beginning this spiritual journey, but they're awakening. That's all I want to say. Like, I'm helping people who are awakening.
I'm ready.
Awakening, who are ready to go. I don't care what part of the journey you're on, but you want to have more fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
So creating that transformation where it's fun and having fun with it and using my gifts of empath, using the gifts of channeling to say, here's what's going on with you, here's what you're doing. Or they bring their questions from the courses or what they're struggling with. And I'm going to have other people, other healers in here sharing some stuff too that's going to help my tribe and my community, and they can benefit from it too. Hey, I want to learn more about what this other healer is doing to help facilitate the healing and joy. But so I have this framework and this vision. So that's all coming.
It's coming
by August. It's not, the framework's there. I just haven't made it live yet because I don't have the videos for it yet. That's what I'm doing the next month, is creating the 5 tips for having more fun, creating the course of making all of life fun. That's the thing. All of life. Yep. Even when stuff's falling apart, even when everything's falling apart, it's actually falling apart to fall in place. And then a relationship one. And of course, as I add more courses, but this is the beginning. And it's that framework of leading up. Okay, bam, you're going to have the free video. Then you can have a course for $29. Online course, 20, you do it your own pace. And even the membership is only going to be like 47, I think is what it is a month, or you can pay for the whole year and get 2 months free.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not expensive, especially with what time's going on, to work on your life and to grow. And then eventually that's going to lead to events where I do live, entertaining, healing events, which I'm not healing you, by the way. If there's a healer saying they're healing you, no. They're giving you tools and facilitating you on the journey to heal yourself.
Yes. I'll be there. You let me know, and I'll go visit, and that'll give me a reason to come out to St. Louis.
Yes, I have this vision of retreat. So anyway, TonyFonte.com. You can find some stuff. You can go to YouTube.
TonyFonte.com.
The TonyFonte.com. That's TONY, F as in Frank, ONTE.com. You can look up the Tony freaking Fonte on show on YouTube, the Tony freaking Fonte show on YouTube. I have some comedy shows on there. I have where I had some of the podcasts when I was doing the podcast, which the fun wasn't aligning, so I had to put it away. It may come back at some point when I'm having more fun. We're going to get on there and have more fun. And that's when I'll have you back on. I felt like I wasn't supposed to, and I got Confirmation says, nope, you're not supposed to right now. You're going to do this other thing. But you can see some other things, and you can actually see the evolution of my videos too, where they weren't, and they're like more raw, and that was my evolution. You'll see my evolution to where I'm at today. You can find me on Facebook. On Facebook, it's Anthony Fonte. I think I got it where it's Anthony Fonte, but you can look up the Tony freaking Fonte show. They wouldn't let me put that as my actual name because the freaking part, which I think is ridiculous, but they let me do the @ symbol, but it had to be Anthony Fonte. You can follow me there. Instagram, it's Tony freaking Fonte.
Yep.
So I'm going to be doing more work on Instagram and YouTube. So if you want to go there, I'll be on TikTok. I do some things with my daughter right now, but eventually these comedies will live over there too. But for now, you know what? Here's what I'll tell you. Just go to Instagram and YouTube for now.
Yeah.
Hit my site if you want to do that. But wait for another month to see the unveiling of this other stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at.
Beautiful. Well, I appreciate you so much. And I ask everyone this that I interview before the end of the show. Since the name of the podcast is Falling in Love with the Process, what does falling in love with the process mean to you?
Wow, that's an amazing question. Falling in love in the process is understanding that, and we've already talked about it through this whole thing, is stepping back and realizing that everything that we're experiencing is for our good. Everything that you are feeling is for your good. And realizing that where you're going and who you're becoming is all part of it. All the pain, all the trauma, all the challenges and suffering you've experienced is part of the process. And when you can understand and realize that that's the process, and stop beating yourself up and loving yourself through that process and saying, oh, I'm going through this, I got a moment to heal. That's when it becomes magical. That's when it becomes fun.
Yeah, beautiful. Very well said. I couldn't couldn't have said it better. I appreciate you so much, Tony. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you too. Can you, again, don't forget to send me that
Yeah,
card.
I'm actually gonna we should exit here and then hop back on because I have a few more cards if you want me to do a reading.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right, y'all. Peace out. See you later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.